Hello, Gav.
How you
How are you
doing?
doing?
Hey, Murray. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good. So we have changed everybody platform from going on Facebook Live to going on Instagram Live. Let's go and see how we can mess this up. Welcome to Friday Live. It is Friday the 19th of June. We're getting closer and closer to being away from lockdown and actually being able to drink with real people. Soon there will be no smoking, no talking, no drinking, no laughing, no jumping anywhere at all, if people get their way. But hasn't swear. We're going to enjoy a little bit more of drinking. This Sunday, for those of you who have forgotten, I hope my children have not. Well, they're 3 and 7 months, so they probably don't even know. It's Father's Day. Anyway, so we have the Father's Day case available on our website. If you have forgotten, it's gone past delivery time. It's probably about a time that you could buy some vouchers, so please do. Hasn't swear. We're going to feature 3 wines from our Father's case. So the first wine we're actually drinking is something from Bordeaux, and it is a biodynamic wine. 2 of the wines are biodynamic. So what is biodynamic, or why is biodynamic there? So biodynamic is the theory from Rudolf Steiner that was invented in 1924. It was his theory on trying to treat soil and a farm as one ecosystem. So returning the soil to its former splendor was really the idea of it. This is made by 2 friends of ours, I would say, the Courcelles sisters, and the 2 people that Gareth and I would kind of, see as being the equal in the wine trade, because they were ruled, they weren't ruled, they were under the guise of their father for so long, as we were in Wines Direct, and it was kind of quite a cool thing. So tell me more about the Courcelles sisters and Tom DeLune.
Okay, right. So we got Tom DeLune, the Courcelles sisters, as Gavin said beforehand. This is actually made 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. And there's no sulfur added. The reason why it's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon is because the Cabernet Sauvignon grape is a little bit thicker skin, and as a result, a thicker skin gives more tannins, and more tannins gives more stability to the actual juice, and that's the reason why they use this. This is a whole concept. Tom DeLune is basically like obviously the time of the moon, and it's a comment on how fast life goes. But as a result, this is actually quite a dark wine. I'm not sure if you can see it because I've got a lot of today. And for me personally, again, I get a lot of sort of like black cherries coming out of that. It's quite smooth wine. It's got no sulfur, so it's quite a lively wine, and it's full of life and just juice. And I'm just going to take a drink. Yeah, that is not overly tannic either. That is just absolutely pure living juice. That's again, it's got it's a black cherry to it, and wow, that's absolutely perfectly. Personally, I definitely want maybe just a little bit of light charcuterie, maybe a bit of lamb with it or something like that. Just for tans, but beyond that, it is just absolutely fantastic, and that's just it. That's on the
No, it's more of a new style of Bordeaux wines that we're kind of seeing from young winemakers like the Courcelles sisters. We're seeing kind of this walk away from tradition, this walk away from what everybody sees as Bordeaux. And, the Courcelles sisters make a couple of other wines, the Petit Courcelles, which they just don't want to be the traditional Bordeaux, because it's very easy to get traditional Bordeaux, but it's very difficult to actually make great Bordeaux. I think these guys do it. On to our next region, we're talking about Crozes-Hermitage, which is part of the Rhone Valley. So really, this is kind of, most people know the Rhone for a couple of reasons. One, they've been down there holidaying on, driving a car and bringing a whole boatload of wine back. I know that we've done that. Number 2, Côte-Rôtie, which is at the northern part of the Rhone, is one of the most famous, most expensive appellations in the world. But realistically, the history of the Rhone Valley dates back to about 600 BC, when the vines were first planted by the Greeks. Obviously, then the Romans ruled for about 500 years from the 1st century. But once the Roman Empire toppled, wine kind of disappeared in that region until about the 13th century, where it kind of started to reappear again. It then became so good for making wine that it got banned from exporting by the Duke of Burgundy, don't you know? Until it then became part later on, the next part of that century, as the part of France, that it actually was allowed to start making wine. This is it's a fantastic little region in the middle of the Rhone Valley. But Gar, tell me about this particular wine and their area.
As you said, I explained about the Rhone Valley, but also this is the northern Rhone, because we've got north and southern Rhone. Southern Rhone is more, Côte de Rhone, and it's more Mediterranean climate. This is northern Rhone, and it is more continental climate, but it's also 100% Syrah. And from this Syrah, for me, I absolutely love, because it's a much more aromatic grape. And Yeah, it's definitely it's 100% Syrah. It's one of those grapes I can always spot just a mile off, and it is again just colour not quite as dark as the last one, because this is actually just a bit of time as well. It's a little bit more aged. This is vintage 2017. And what I really love about Syrah, one, that's it's very aromatic. It's slow ripening grape as well. But what they do here in Domaine de Mézières, the name of the one, is they ferment in stainless steel. Then after that, it is up to 12, 13 months in huge 600-litre oak barrels. 500-litre or 600-litre oak barrels. Why is that important? Again, it's more for the slow elevation, or the élevage, as I say, or the
the aging, or well, the growing up of the wine. Yeah.
Yes, growing up with the wine. Exactly. That's what I would say again. Growing up with the wine, and as a result, you actually get something that's actually it's got a bit of spice to it. It's got loads of blackcurrant. I actually see it's a lovely sort of ruby color. I'm not sure this really nice today because
I'm not sure I'm getting the color on that, but yeah, it is. Gareth being very responsible and actually spitting while tasting as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very responsible.
For me, like loads of red fruit, with spice and aromatics and sort of like a bit of herbiness, almost a bit of olive coming in at the back. Absolutely, it's just wonderful. And this is like I'm saying, Father's Day. This is perfect steak wine. This is just really, and it's not too overly powering as well. It's actually quite medium bodied and just with spice. And a lot of people know Syrah because they always say Shiraz coming from Australia, and that's what you used to get. You used to get Crow's Hermitage or Hermitage Australian wine, but it is Syrah or Shiraz.
Yeah, no, it's
very different to Shiraz, I should say. This is a lot more elegant.
Yeah, very much so. And I think kind of Rhone is always that most elegant, and kind of trying to get something of good value in Rhone, it can always be a challenge. You know, it's very easy to get bad wine in the Rhone Valley. But this is something that's kind of excellent quality. Wine number 3, we're moving on to Chateau Labaron in Corbières. Now, Gareth would have interviewed the guys from Labaron a couple of weeks ago, so you can check back through Friday Live on our YouTube or through Facebook Live as well. So it's on our YouTube channel, will be saved there as well. So we did an interview with them to see what they think. But Labaron itself comes from an area called Corbières. Corbières is about 95% red wine. There's a little bit of rosé and a little bit of white made, but it's 95% red wine. And actually, it's one of the regions where 19 grape varietals are allowed. It's a huge amount of grape varietals allowed to go into the wine. And it only became an appellation control or an AOC in 1985. Pre the 20th century, this particular region of France actually spoke Occitan, or so it was the land of Doc. So that was the local dialect. And they were speaking Catalan just slightly over the border into Roussillon as well. So this was so far distant from what is Parisian or what is French culture at that stage, even though it is France now. And it was also the region where a lot of the glug wine or the gut wine or the kind of the bulk wine was produced for a long point in time. So, you know, if I talk to people of my grandfather's generation, they would say, oh, that's where the jug wine comes from. But not so much, and not for quite a while now, certainly the last 30 years, it's not the reason. But also, more importantly, this is where France makes amazing rugby. So you have Narbonne, Perpignan, Montpellier, really good places to go. And for myself and Gareth, it's a great way to actually go and enjoy doing a bit of work and actually going and seeing some rugby. So I'm hoping that when lockdown ends, we get to see this and we get to go and see the guys from Labaron. So Gareth, please tell me about this particular wine.
Okay, this comes from Corbières. As Gavin said, Corbières is basically down south of France. It's right on the border between Languedoc and Roussillon. And Corbières should be about 11 different appellations, but unfortunately, that's never going to happen. So it's really important to know which winemaker you're dealing with. So this is on the Alarac Mountain, which is named after the Visigoth King Alaric. And it's mostly made with Cinsault. Cinsault was one of these grapes, vines that they thought they should actually grub up when the European Union were giving loads of money to basically, same way as we were giving, our farmers were given money to put our fields to fallow. They said there's too much wine down. That's Gavin was dead right. Was jug wine was what's called down in South France. But this now since then they've completely is completely different, and they've discovered that Cinsault in particularly, old vine Cinsault, can produce some absolutely wonderful wine. And this is Cinsault, Syrah, Carignan, and Mourvedre. This is sort of like a postcard. It's called La Chimie, and it's a postcard of the estate, as Jean and Anne like to talk about it. And for me, this is the perfect all-terrain wine. It just goes with everything. Whether you're having it by itself, or having it with food. I'd even chill it when it's a hot day. I just would have it with everything. So that's just my own personal opinion. But the first thing, like just absolute just black cassis just coming straight out of the glass. This is almost like a really, really, really dark glass of wine color, but it's not going to be overly tannic either. It is just because it's got lovely, 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 just bramble fruit and just spice. And when this apple is hand harvested and everything's fermented by itself, they're fermented with natural yeast in open tanks. So they take in the whole atmosphere and terroir. So this is a real terroir wine as well. And it's made by, it's made by Anne and Jan. Anne is a geologist, and Jan is a local GP. So it's good for you, is what I like to think.
I would like to then put as a caveat on that particular one that we cannot say that it's actually good for you, but it's probably good for your soul. So this is what it is, it's good for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you get a question there, Gavin?
There is a question. So looking for some of you who are looking for kind of reasonably priced, heavy, nice wine. For me, actually, there's a good friend of mine, Carl Pentony, and Carl would say that kind of for him, he kind of likes some kind of really good, big, heavy wines. All the wines here, I think, like the Le Baron is going to be maybe a little bit more medium than heavy because it's kind of quite elegant. But if you want something that bit heavier, why don't you look at the Superior from Crashstow there? It's around €22 on the website. Something like that will go quite well as a full-bodied wine itself. Okay, so as we said, these wines themselves are part of the Father's Day case. You do not have to be a father to buy this case. You can buy this case for yourself. My children, or my wife, more importantly, who's buying for my children for my Father's Day present for my kids. I would quite like this, but that's just me. I'm a wine nerd and I just like wine. We're going to try and keep it doing these. If you have any reflections of what you'd like to say, or what you'd like us to drink, or what you'd like questions you'd like to ask.
Thank you for that question. So you're welcome. We got thank you.
We're getting, yes, brilliant question.
Noel Hogan's question about what goes with spam.
Yes, we're actually going to ban Noel Hogan, I think, from actually ever posting on it, because every time he asks us about what goes well with spam, what goes well with the spice box, I think anything goes well with the spice box because you only eat it at a certain point in time in the morning. Anyway, I digress. So if you'd like to send in some messages through either messaging the Wines Direct IRL account, messaging Gareth, which is at Garthio, or me, I am wine_Gav. Very, very happy to answer any questions. Guys, I'm going to chat to you next Friday, same time, same bat channel. Gareth, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.